Welcome to my class. Today I am talking about the very interesting topic and very useful topic, that is the larynx. It is also well known about the popular name of voice box. It is a part of the respiratory system. The objectives of the today's topic, it includes location and extent of the larynx, extrinsic intrinsic muscles of the larynx, blood supply of the larynx, lymphatic drainage, nerve supply of the larynx, and clinical aspects. Look at the image. You can see that there is a larynx is situated in the anterior midline of the upper part of the neck region, just above the trachea, in front of the laryngopharynx. The vertical diameter of the larynx, it is about 44 millimeter in male and 36 millimeter in female. This larynx is extends from the root of the tongue to the upper border of the trachea, and it lies against to the C3 to C6 cervical vertebra, and it acts as a sphincter at the inlet of lower respiratory tract to protect the trachea and bronchial tree from entry of any foreign body other than air. This flowchart will give the exact information about the muscles around the larynx. The muscles are divided into extrinsic muscles and intrinsic muscles. The extrinsic muscles are two types of action will play on the larynx: elevation of the larynx caused by the suprahyoid muscles and longitudinal muscles of the pharynx, it is 3 in number, and depression of the larynx responsible for the strap muscles which are located below the hyoid bone. These are 4 in number, and most important intrinsic muscles of the larynx is a common 2 actions we are going to observe: muscles controlling the laryngeal inlet and muscles controlling the movement of vocal cords. And these are the 2 muscles we are going to observe: obliquoretinoid aryepiglottic muscle, and under this movement of the vocal cords, the controlling tension of the vocal folds depends on the 2 muscles: thyroarytenoid cricothyroid muscle, and open and close the rima glottis, which are present in either side of the vocal folds. These are 3 in number: posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, and transverse arytenoid muscles. Intrinsic muscles of the larynx, the elevation muscles of the larynx includes suprahyoid muscles, geniohyoid, mylohyoid, anterior belly, posterior belly. You can see the mylohyoid. These are the 4 muscles are regarded as the suprahyoid muscles which are located above the hyoid bone, and the small contribution of the longitudinal muscles of the pharynx, that includes salpingopharyngeus, palatopharyngeus, stylopharyngeus. These all the 2 kinds of different types of muscles that will be action on the elevation of the larynx. And depressor muscles of the larynx includes thyroid, sternothyroid, sternohyoid, and superior belly of the omohyoid muscle. And these four muscles are collectively responsible for to depress the larynx. And before going to explanation about the intrinsic muscles of the larynx, the student should know about the cartilage of the larynx. The larynx is around its structures related to the paired cartilages and unpaired cartilages. The paired cartilages are arytenoid cartilage, corniculate cartilage, and cuneiform cartilage, which are located in the posterior view of the larynx. And unpaired cartilages are three in number. These are cricoid cartilage, thyroid cartilage, and epiglotticus. And all the intrinsic muscles of the larynx that will be passing to the one cartilage to the other cartilage. So hence the name of the muscles according to the name of the cartilage. You can see the image posterior view of the larynx. There is here we can able to see the two important muscles. One is the oblique arytenoid muscle and other one is the epiglotticus muscle. Oblique muscle is arise from the muscular process of the one arytenoid, and it will get inserted into the apex of the opposite side of the arytenoid cartilage. And epiglotticus muscle is arise from the muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage. Then it will get inserted into the margin of the epiglotticus. You can see the anterior view and lateral view of the larynx. We can able to see the cricothyroid muscle, which is extends from the anterolateral surface of the cricoid cartilage, and it will be get inserted into the inferior horn of the thyroid cartilage and lower border of the thyroid cartilage. And thyroarytenoid muscle is concerned, it is arise from the posterior aspect of the angle of the thyroid cartilage. Then it will be get inserted into the anterolateral surface of the arytenoid cartilage. And similarly in the lateral view we can able to see the one more small muscle which is arise from the posterior aspect of the lateral angle of the thyroid cartilage. Then this muscle is get inserted into the margin of the epiglotticus. These muscle fibers are fused with the epiglotticus, and these three muscles are collectively responsible for the controlling the tension of vocal cords of the larynx. And here in lateral and posterior view of the larynx, it shows three types of different muscles that collectively responsible for the open and close the rima glotticus. And here the lateral cricoarytenoid muscle is arise from the lateral part of the upper border of the cricoid arch, and it will get inserted into the anterior aspect of the muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage. And posterior cricoarytenoid, this muscle is considered to be as a safety muscles of the larynx. It is arise from the posterior surface of the lamina of the cricoid cartilage, and it will get inserted into the posterior surface of the muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage. The transverse arytenoid muscle, which are located beneath the oblique arytenoid and aryepiglotticus muscle, which is arise from the one arytenoid, and it will get inserted into the posterior surface of the another arytenoid muscle. So these fibers are running transversely, hence the name of the transverse arytenoid. Muscles acting on the larynx: the thyroid, mylohyoid, that will be responsible for the elevation of the larynx, and similarly sternocleidomastoid, sternothyroid, it will be responsible for the depress the larynx, and thyroepiglotticus and aryepiglotticus, both are opening and closing the inlet of the larynx. Posterior cricoarytenoid, abduction of the vocal cords, lateral cricoarytenoid, transverse oblique arytenoid muscles, collectively responsible for the adduction of the vocal cords, and cricothyroid muscle, that will be modulation of the voice, and thyroarytenoid and vocalis collectively responsible for the relaxation of the vocal cords. Blood supply of the larynx, and here above the vocal cords there is superior laryngeal artery, which is the branch of the superior thyroid artery. The superior thyroid artery is arise from the anterior aspect of the external carotid artery, and below the vocal cords we can see that there is a inferior thyroid artery, which is the branch of the thyrocervical trunk. It gives the small branches, that is the inferior laryngeal artery, and here the venous drainage is concerned. The small tributaries of the superior laryngeal veins above the vocal cords, that will be drains into the superior thyroid vein. This superior thyroid vein are further terminate into the internal jugular vein in either side, and similarly the small tributaries of the inferior laryngeal vein, which are located below the vocal cords, that will be drains into the inferior thyroid vein, then further it will be drains into the brachiocephalic vein. Lymphatic drainage of the larynx: above the vocal cords, the lymph vessels piercing to the thyroid membrane, and these lymphs are finally drains into the superior deep cervical lymph nodes, and below the vocal cords the lymphs piercing to the cricothyroid membrane, and it will be drains into the inferior deep cervical lymph nodes, the nerve supply of the larynx is concerned. Say motor supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve, which is piercing to the all the intrinsic muscles of the larynx except cricothyroid muscle, which is supplied by the external laryngeal nerve. Are you able to recognize this external laryngeal nerve? and these are the directly coming from the superior laryngeal nerve. The superior laryngeal nerve divides into two divisions, internal and then external, and sensory secretomotor supply is concerned. Above the vocal cords is supplied by the internal laryngeal nerve, a branch of the superior laryngeal nerve, and below the vocal cords the right and left recurrent laryngeal nerve that will be piercing to the all the muscles in the form of sensory and secretomotor supply. The right recurrent laryngeal nerve is wound around the right subclavian artery, and whereas the left recurrent laryngeal nerve is wound around the arch of aorta, then it will be ascends, passes deep to the esophagus, trachea, and supply to the in the form of motor and then sensory supply. Laryngitis, it is the inflammation of the vocal cords in the larynx, and this we can see the image is a normal vocal cords. This can be examined through the laryngoscopy. One can examine the vestibular fold, vocal folds, aryepiglottic membrane, piriformis fossa, and other structures also we can visualize through the laryngoscopy. And laryngitis means the inflammation of the vocal cords due to the overuse or irritation or infection, like a Reinke's edema. The common symptoms of the laryngitis includes hoarseness of the voice, and because of the damage to the recurrent laryngeal nerve and loss of phonation, infection of the upper respiratory tract, common cold, and gastroesophageal reflux disease. Anatomical basis of recurrent laryngeal nerve injury, and here we can able to see the right and left recurrent laryngeal nerve. If it is the one nerve is damaged, either right side or left side, may cause to the loss of phonation and shown the hoarseness of the voice, result in reflex coughing. If it is in case of both recurrent laryngeal nerve injured, it leads to the complete loss of phonation and loss of abduction, adduction of the vocal cords. The patient will feel the difficulty in breathing. And you can see that here the internal laryngeal nerve that will be piercing to the sensory supply to the above the vocal cords muscles. Damage to the internal laryngeal nerve will adverse effect to the sensory supply to the intrinsic muscles of the larynx just above the vocal cords. And sometimes the mediastinal tumors often that will be compress the left recurrent laryngeal nerve and maybe that will be adverse effect to the hoarseness of the voice commonly seen. These are the voice questions, so carefully we have to go through the questions and prepare the answers in a proper way. And these are the competency based curriculum prescribed by the Medical Council of India. And intrinsic muscles of the larynx is very important. and laryngitis and recurrent laryngeal nerve, anatomical and clinical importance, and these are the common questions of the annual examination. So the essay question is claimed for the many examinations, and similarly intrinsic muscles, nerve supply, and give the first priority for these questions. Thank you for watching my video. If you get the benefit, then you subscribe my channel. Thank you.